So, for the past 4 years, people always have this debate about Jimmy Butler on whether or not he's a star or a superstar. Now, this is my opinion. I think he is a superstar. I say, why not? He kind of reminds me of D Wade. Look, people need to realize legends are made in the postseason. Icons are made in the postseason. You make your money in the postseason. You build up your resume in the postseason. So, who do I think is a better player? James Harden or Butler? It's like, man, that is a huge toss-up. It's kind of hard based on the fact that what do you look for in a superstar? James has had the better career, but who's the overall better player that you want on your team? I love James. Me and James went to the same high school together, but I gotta be honest. His play in the postseason has tarnished his legacy. Now, I'm gonna say it again. Me and James, we went to the same high school together. I've known him since he was 14 years old. But I gotta be honest. His postseason play is raising his career. It's kind of tarnished. It's like he feels like he is a regular season player. See, people always want to knock Butler on his play in the regular season. But I'm like, okay, he is always a borderline all-star. But I feel like that's good enough. That was good enough to lead the Heat to the finals back in 2020. So what do people look for? It's like, yeah, you don't have the flashy numbers, but does that matter? He's winning. He is still the number one option on his team. It's like Harden don't bring that same fire to the postseason. It's like you don't gotta worry about Butler in that postseason. He's gonna bring it. See, I don't think Butler takes the regular season seriously. He waits until the playoffs. I feel like that's what you want in a player. You want players to save their best for the postseason. You don't want a guy that, okay, he puts up great stats in the regular season, but once the playoffs get here, he goes down. That means you are Julius Randle. You don't want to be that kind of player where it's like, yeah, you put up flashy stats in the regular season, but not the postseason. Dog, that's where you make your money at. That's how you make a name for yourself. It's like, who do you trust more in the playoffs? Harden or Butler? Right? People will say Butler. So by that same logic, who is the better player? The postseason, that's where you make your money at. Butler is a better player than James in that postseason. So I feel like, what player do you want more? Who's more valuable? James he's very flashy. He puts butts in seats. But it's like, man, he has like a mental block in the damn postseason. Once a game 6 get here or a game 7, that's when he kind of checks out. I don't know why. It's weird. Why does he check out? Butler, he plays his ass off every game, every minute. So it's like, how can you say James is a better player if he don't bring those same stats that he puts up in the regular season to the postseason? How come we don't compare Jimmy and James as players in the postseason? Because it's not close. Listen, every playoffs, Butler plays like Michael Jordan. You can't say that about James Harden. That's why it's like, that's what I mean by James has really tarnished his legacy in the playoffs. It's like, man, how can we rank him as a top 5 guard at his spot of all time if bro, you don't bring that same fire to the postseason. But Jimmy does. So it's like, what player would you want on your team? To me, I feel like when it comes to the regular season, that's where you build up your Hall of Fame resume. But the postseason, that's where icons and legends are made. That's where the big bright lights are at. That's why Jimmy is the talk of the town. Cause like he feels like the regular season is overrated. Right? It's like, cause like he don't put up great stats. Like, cause he don't care about going for MVPs. He don't care about all-stars. All he cares about is bringing his team to the playoffs. That's what you want. Like, who cares about having a guy on your team who puts up crazy ass stats, but he don't bring those same stats to the goddamn playoffs. So what's the point? What player would you want? Would you want a guy that saves his best for the postseason, or a guy who goes out and plays his ass off only in the regular season? What player would you want? To me, it's like, man, it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, here's a guy in Butler. He don't play like a superstar in the regular season, but once the playoffs get here, he plays like a Michael Jordan. I feel like that's the guy that I want on my team over James Harden. And look, man, I love James, man, but I don't know why he don't bring that same edge to the goddamn playoffs. It's like, did you see him with the damn Nets? It's like, it's freaking deja vu. Right? I don't get it. I don't know why. It's like every game 7, every game 6, he plays so passive, like he doesn't want to play. That's what I mean. Like, how can you say James is a better player than Butler? Like, who gives a fuck about the regular season? Who cares? As long as you lead your team to playoffs, that's all that matters. I'd rather be Butler, a guy that he does not take the regular season seriously, but he takes the playoffs seriously, man. I wish he was on my Knicks. Okay, that's who we need. We need Butler. We need guys like that. Guys that say, you know what? I don't give a fuck about the regular season. I care about the playoffs. Dude, Butler is, every year he gets better and better and better. It's like he is a modern day D-Wade. Where it's like D-Wade became a legend because of the postseason. Remember D-Wade's first year as a rookie? He only averaged 16 points per game. But in the goddamn playoffs, he upped his game to a point where people felt like he should have won the Rookie of the Year. That's how special the playoffs are. Dude, the goddamn playoffs, they make you a god. That's how important the playoffs are. See, D-Wade didn't put up great stats in the regular season compared to Bron, but in the postseason, D-Wade was like Butler. He saved his best for the postseason. That's all that matters. So when it comes to my opinion, man, who do I think is better, Butler or James Harden? I don't know, man. I'm sorry, man. I want Butler on my team. I don't give a fuck if Butler don't average 40 points per game in the regular season. I don't care about stats, bruh. Who cares? Great stats don't win you championships. In the regular season, who cares? I care about, bruh, put up great stats in the goddamn playoffs, and that's what Butler's doing. That's what every top player should do. Bruh, save your best for the postseason. That's where icons are made. And people tend to forget, Jimmy Butler is carrying his team. He's playing with Kyle Lowry, who's somewhat past his prime. He's playing with Kevin Love, who is somewhat past his prime. He's doing this without Victor Office Depot. He's gone for the whole season. He's doing this without Tyler Hero. It's like, dude, it feels like Jimmy don't need those guys. That's how good he is. Like, he elevates people. That's what you want out of a superstar. Does he elevate other players? No matter how whack they are, no matter how good they are, he elevates his whole entire team. That is a sign of a guy who is a superstar, because look what he was faced with. And one more thing, Jimmy is doing this with a whole bunch of undrafted free agents and a bunch of guys who are past their prime and a bunch of guys who should not be getting tons of minutes based on the fact that Victor's gone and Tyler Hero is gone. So he's carrying this whole entire team under duress. Let that sink in. Okay, I'm done.